Yeah, they don't like me.
You've been dealing with this for a while now. Probably what, like 2 months now? Maybe 3 at the most?
Yeah, it's been
something's not right, Larry.
Something's not right. So
you need some money on your books. You need $10.
Exactly.
Okay.
I need that.
I'll put some money on your books for you.
Okay. So
don't worry.
All right. So the thing about it is that T-Rex, please play the entrance music, please.
All right.
So she's somebody about to rock the party tonight, right about now.
Ooh, she about to blow it up.
Right. So we just waiting for this. This is the calm before the storm, people.
It's the calm before the storm. This is some nice subtle music.
All right, so this is MC Lights Rock the Party. So the thing about it is that we about to rock the party with Miss Sherry Bowman in the house. What's going on, Sherry?
What's going on, Larry?
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How about yourself?
All right, that's great. What's up? So first on the list, we got the debate for the mayoral's race in the city of Cleveland last night. Things got a little bit heated between not only 2, but 4 candidates last night. So I'm going to give out, before we start, Jay, you got something to say about what happened last night?
Listen, last night's debate was just completely and utterly just, I don't even know what to say. But what I will say is, Zach came with it. And as we get through the show today, I'm gonna pinpoint some things that Zach said that's so very true. And Bashir needs to stay in his lane, and that's all I'm gonna say for now. We're gonna come back to it, though. We're gonna come back to it.
Okay, so the thing about it is that the problem that I have with this whole thing, and by the way, I think that Kucinich and Kevin Kelly need some lightsabers because they went at it again, and Kucinich said that the only thing that we can't recycle is we can't recycle past leadership. So
yeah, I saw
it was shade thrown all the way around. It was like shade thrown. 216-249-6658 is the number to call in on www.wnrv1081.com.
But I will rank them, in who won it last night. You want to know that? I can't tell you that.
Well, can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
When Kucinich said that you can't recycle nothing but past leadership, was he talking about himself?
I don't know.
I wondered the same thing.
Cause, and see, that's the thing. They got to be careful what they're saying and how they're saying it, because you're in that boat. And just like when Bashir tried to call out Zach about not writing legislation, Brother Jones, last I checked, Bashir, you ain't wrote not one piece of legislation in the entire time that you've been in that seat. So please do not bring that back to the table. Leave that alone. And I've worked alongside Zach for a long time, and I know what Zach has done. So Brother Bashir, please let that go about legislation, bro, because you ain't wrote none. Just don't do that. Don't do that.
So he ain't did none of the stuff that he said in the debate last night.
What?
Did he?
The thing with Bashir is when he said that under his administration, he's going to bring in minority contractors. Bro, this city is bigger than minority contractors. That's just one of the issues that we got going on in the city of Cleveland. You got to come with something more than that. And just because you got the endorsement of the minority contractors, don't sit here and try to entertain them and say that you're going to do all this stuff for them, Brother Jones, when you know that that's not even the truth. So come on now, don't start getting out here saying, well, under my administration, minority contractors will be able to work in this city. Really? We had a whole contract, a whole project over there with the Opportunity Corridor, and we could not fill the obligation of hiring minority contractors. You know why? Because the majority of them did not have what they need to be able to bid on these jobs. So unless you're going to go and address the issues that's stopping them from getting these jobs, Brother Bashir, don't act like you're going to do them a favor and just give them work, because then you're going to have to be called steering stuff to some people, and that ain't even right. Don't get me started.
You started on Bashir, so
Don't get me started.
the councilman of Ward 7. You have heard the queen with the gold mic.
I'm gonna run down to you who I think came in first.
All right.
Last night, Reed was
Let's
one.
say that. Whoa, let's say that.
Oh,
You
see,
can't
T-
just come
T
in
like, I'm glad you
we got
back.
a whole show.
T like,
Let's be the fans.
All right.
Listen to
All right.
Relax, baby girl, relax.
All right, so Sherry, you got some heat. There's some people that said that, you have a problem with the person that's running in Ward 5. You got some stuff going on with that. You want to bring that out right about now, Sherry?
Well, first let me get started. I'm Sherry Bowman, and I am the CEO of Metropolitan Consultants, LLC. I have a political consulting firm, okay? I represented the Honorable Phyllis Cleveland. I was her campaign manager in 2017. I was working for Dolores Gray, her replacement. I'm no longer with Dolores Gray, even though I have a tremendous amount of respect for her, and I truly believe she's the best candidate for that particular job. But as I understand it, some people came on the show a couple of weeks ago and made a lot of innuendos and made a lot of suggestions, and they were kind of referring to me and the current councilwoman.
oh,
Okay, so I want to phrase this by saying I want to talk about tragedy pimps
oh,
and performatives.
oh.
And a tragedy pimp.
Okay, what's the tragedy, man?
A tragedy pimp is a candidate or an elected official who takes someone's personal tragedy, brings them in front of a television camera, and says, what happened to you was so bad, and she's to blame for it.
Oh, wow.
You shouldn't have had to go through this tragedy, but that person made you go through it. We do that a lot. Jay, you about to go off on me because Zach's the king of tragedy pimping.
Oh.
He brought up in front.
Oh, tell the truth, shame the devil.
Oh,
Tell your
He's
truth.
he's the king of
Tell
tragedy
it.
pimping.
Tell it.
Remember his last year council? He had the little whiteboard with the little red dots on it. So every time someone got murdered,
Yeah, he was there.
he brought it up on council floor and he put another little red dot on the board.
True that.
For what? What did it solve? What awareness did it raise? Because we see it on the news every night.
Yeah.
You can't help it because the media are the kings. If Zach's the king, then they are the czar of tragedy pimping. Because that's the only way they get ratings. So you take it from the news media
Yep.
to your elected officials and now to your candidates. Performatives are candidates or the elected officials who love to get out and talk about stuff and just perform.
You mean?
Bashir Jones,
Oh, there you go. Come on now. Tell the truth and
Oh,
shame
wow.
the devil.
okay?
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
I'll take an issue that did not happen in Ward 7.
He's clean. What? He's clean.
Did not happen in Ward 7 because as far as I know, that's the only thing he's been elected to. And, that's still questionable, okay? And put it on TV and say, this is what's wrong with our city. And when you elect me mayor, and this was, I believe, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I'm going to resolve this problem.
In East Cleveland.
Okay, in East Cleveland, in Glenville, on the west side, in Ward 1, particularly in Ward 5. He just loves to come down there and perform, okay?
which one you talking about, Zach or Bashir?
You talking about
Bashir.
Bashir?
Yeah.
Brother Jones.
Even Zach had the common decency to respect protocol. And Bashir lacks basic respect of council protocol. Yeah, I said it.
Boom.
Boom. So, you got your performatives and you got your tragedy pimps, and they're your elected officials. What has happened, in my opinion, and all of this is my opinion,
Yeah.
until I get to the receipts that Jay got.
Oh.
They've taken it to another level. See, Trump did this 2014, 2015, 2016. So since Trump won, well, dang, maybe it's a good idea if I tried.
If you don't go ahead and tell the truth and shame the devil.
Maybe if I try this, I could get elected. And there's some people out here that want to get elected without telling you one thing that they can do differently than's already being done.
Oh,
By the way, Dolores Gray on my other page says hello, Sherry.
Okay, tell her what's up. That's the queen. All right, that's the queen. So here we are with this person that came on the radio, and I believe he called me a bully. He called me a bully because in Ward 5, there are buildings he can't get into. You want to know why he can't get into them? Reason. He was told exactly who he needed to contact to get into CMHA buildings. If you do not go through proper procedure, you will not get into CMHA. And I'm gonna be here to tell you, you might not get in even if you go through all the proper procedure. Because it took us 1.5 years just to register people to vote in CMHA. But he was told,
wow.
and he's like, no, I ain't got to do that. I'm gonna just do what I want to do. Went in, broke in, got some people to help him, and violated CMHA's rules. CMHA requires you to do one thing, is get their permission.
Yep.
And if you get their permission, you cannot be political because they're not political.
Exactly.
HUD won't allow them to be. But, I got an MBA. I graduated from this prestigious college. I've taken the time to educate myself. But you haven't educated yourself to know that you can't go into CMHA passing out political flyers. The exception is when you're doing something for the community, when you're registering people to vote, when you're giving them information about community meetings. See, there you don't violate any rules. But you're talking to a person that thinks rules don't apply to them. They just don't. So if I'm a bully doing the right thing and respecting people's privacy and their protocols. Now, I have a partnership with an organization called Mobilize to Vote. For the last 2 years, we have been registering CMHA residents to vote. We've been doing it on the east side of Cleveland. We have gone through, man, y'all done got me cotton mouth. I'm about to get up and get
Just
real.
go ahead and tell your truth.
Well, I was about to just ask, so all of this has been an issue of just proper process, proper procedures, and just
Integrity and thinking that the thought process that will allow you to think that rules don't apply to you anymore. You can do what you want to do. And not taking the time to educate yourself on how to get things to get done.
That's all of them.
Okay, well, I was going to get to that because, we're talking about these young folk and these young activists, and not all of them are like that. There's some that will take some time because I started out as an activist. Okay, and then when I realized being an activist wasn't going to get me the change that I sought, I took 3 years and learned how council operates.
Yes.
I went to committee meetings. I went and learned what the budget process is. I went and read a budget book. I had to, slide in where I could.
How many people that's running for council or mayor know that information?
Okay, you ain't gonna put me out there like that.
Okay,
but most of them don't.
Percentage side, what you think? Less than 30, less than 50%?
All I can say is the one that's running against Councilwoman Gray has it.
God bless him.
Ask him what a block grant is and what you can use that money for.
And to answer that question, I'll answer that question. And ask it again, T. You said how many?
Okay, for all the people that's out here running for council, like Miss, I forgot what's your name?
Miss Gray.
Miss Gray just said, how many people?
No, my name is Miss Bowman. I'm sorry.
Miss Bowman. Miss Bowman. She said that what you got to do, to learn the system. How many people that's running for councilman right now know the system like that? Know the budget and got to go through the process.
You want me to tell you the truth and unequivocally nothing
And
but the truth?
Are you the queen with the gold mic?
5%.
Damn.
I'm gonna tell you why in a minute.
Why do we have to wait a
Yeah,
minute?
Tell us now. Tell us now before.
5% too, a little bit more.
Honestly, I don't know the number, so that's why I'm really curious.
She's seen these politicians come up here.
So let me tell you,
Okay.
to answer your question. You want me to answer it now, or you want to come back to it?
Well, let's see what we got on break time. Answer that now.
Okay, so when you look at these council people are what you would consider an ombudsman. They are to be receptive to their constituents and the residents that they are elected to serve. So when you're looking at the functions of a real functioning council person, you have to establish long-term and short-term objectives and priorities for your wards. You have to oversee effectiveness of the programs in your prospective wards. You need to pass ordinances and resolutions within your ward that will be resonated throughout the city. You need to regulate business activity through licensing and regulations. You need to regulate public health and safety. You need to communicate policies and programs to your residents. You need to respond to your constituents' needs and complaints. And you need to represent the community of everyone at other levels of government. That's just a few of the things that they're supposed to be doing as council people. Now, when you look at what we got right now in Cleveland City Council, I'm sticking with the 5%.
The question that I have while we're on this, I really do want to know, why don't they know this?
Because they think just because they get up there and shuck and jive and put on this performance, and because people look at them and they say, I like them, and because they make them feel all warm and fuzzy inside, they elect these people into office without the testicular fortitude of any type of political writing of any legislation. They lack all of that. But because they making people feel good, they out here shaking hands, they promising them stuff, they giving them $25 gift cards, they get turkeys, they get hams at Christmas.
Jobs.
You know, they get them jobs. This is why they elect them. They're not electing them because they can get the job done. They are all being in these positions because they're all suffering from the whip-em, the what's in it for me syndrome.
But the funny thing, I mean, I'm trying to play like devil's advocate. I mean, but that's, you don't really.
You might not want to do that today.
You don't have to know the law, though. You don't have like.
You need to know the law.
If you want
but you don't
a
have
certain
to.
job, though.
If you want to affect change, and if you want to change the narrative and the trajectory of this city, you better understand policy, and you better understand how to write legislation, because legislation that affects the immediate residents in the city is written on the local and state level, and it needs to come from the people that we put in these council seats. They're the ones making these policies for the residents of the city. They're the ones that will make it better for us. Not a one of them has passed not one damn piece of legislation that will change what's going on in the city of Cleveland. And they all got the opportunity to do it. And all they got to do is pick up a damn pen, take their ass over there to case, talk to some of their students or some of them fellows over there to help them write for legislation to change this city. But they choose not to do it because we don't hold them accountable to what we are expecting them to do. And the time is out for these people to keep sitting here playing with my life, my children's lives, my grandchildren's lives, my grandchildren's children's lives. This shit will go on for generations until somebody step up and say enough is enough.
Well,
And that's my truth.
you want to bring out the receipts now, Sherry?
Oh, well, we could talk about different receipts, because the same guy, you know, I try not to say his name, but that same dude, okay. And
Let me know when you want me to hold
in
up.
2017, okay,
Go ahead.
was accused of committing vote by mail fraud. 2 reports were sent to the prosecutor's office stating everything that he did. Okay? So let's go back to 2017, right after Trump getting elected. Republicans are talking about we're going to eliminate vote by mail, and Democrats are saying no, we can't. So, you know, sometimes okay, I'm probably going to lose money over this, but sometimes we some punk ass Democrats, okay? Sometimes we are. Sometimes we are, because you got the receipts right there. This boy turned in 65 vote by mail applications that was sent to his job, the Boys and Girls Club.
That's what
65.
That's what it's saying in this document. That is what
Okay,
it says.
they called him in for an interview, asked him not to send in any more, and then the next day he turned in 200 more.
Well,
It's all in that report.
Touche.
Okay,
Touche.
I have a question.
what's the question?
Yes, so honestly, I do agree that unfortunately sometimes we are some punk ass Democrats. I love my party, but damn. Do you feel that that also has impact just in general on why we have so many council members who don't understand proper processes and procedures?
The reason I feel we don't take the time to educate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Young people, and you gotta love them. And I gotta believe that there's a bunch of them out there we just ain't found yet who actually wants to put in the work, to do the work necessary to become what Jay was describing. Mm-hmm. But they like shortcuts. They take shortcuts. They think that we're old school and we just standing in their way. Well,
I heard that a lot. I heard that a lot.
Well, fool, I had to stand in line. It wasn't too good for me. Why is it too good for you? If you stand in line behind me, maybe you will learn something along the way. Because that's how I learned.
Because this is a microwave then now society, and everybody wants everything on a fast food platter. The money, the cars, the clothes, the hoes, all that other stuff like that. Pardon my French, ladies, but that's how they look. They see the loving hip hop crap on TV, and that's how they want it. They want the success now. They want the prestige now. They want the money now, but they don't want to work for it.
So basically, everybody got to pay their dues.
Yeah, but then ask somebody.
You need to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues. You don't get nothing free in this country, and if it's free, something wrong with it, and it ain't good for you. You got to pay your dues. I paid my dues in learning how to play politics in the city of Cleveland. I know how to get this done, but because I'm very vocal and I'm very outspoken and I'm very radical, as people like to say now, I'm radical. That's an issue for a lot of people that don't want the truth.
No wonder why my Facebook Live got shut down. I don't understand. Everybody was participating, so somebody didn't like it.
That's the problem. I'm radical. I want to ruffle some feathers. I want to make some waves in the water. I want to do what the good John Lewis said, make some good trouble. People don't like to make good trouble because people don't know good trouble going to get good results, and it's going to yield us what we need to move our black people forward. So until we start getting in good trouble, we gonna stay where we at.
All right.
Well, they don't like good trouble because it's too much work. Let's keep that for real. You know, John Lewis,
right.
The civil rights movement, you know, they can't tell you a whole lot about it.
You right.
Because they don't feel like it affect them.
All
right.
So let's go to the other receipt.
You right.
How many more you got?
Oh, well, we could talk about this all day long.
Yeah, commercial break.
Well, let's go to a commercial break
Okay.
first. Then we're gonna come back about what's the bottom line, and then we're gonna talk about this mayoral debate because Cassandra McDonald is downstairs right now, so she's coming up. So this is Friend Zone by Thundercat on this hot ass edition of the Headline Eye.
It ain't got hot here. Can we turn the air up?
Ain't no air, damn it. You already killed it. We'll be right back on www.wnrv1081.com. Peace. Why they shut my shit down?
They don't want it. These people kill me out here.
They wanted this shit, man.
You are definitely right about
We got
how people feel about even just dealing with recent history as far as the civil rights movement. Like I talk about my cousin, Dr. Doris Derby.
Mm-hmm.
She was involved with SNCC back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the Library of Congress for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had stuff where people are like, oh, that's not important. That's just your family history. And I'm like, no, this is not just my family history. This is our history, asshole. This is us.
See, these folks don't even want to talk about slavery.
No.
Okay,
It didn't have anything to do with me.
But here's the real deal. You know, people died for their rights to vote too. Just like
Okay.
these slaves died for you to be free. They died for you to right to vote.
Well, we want to go there. We
And
want
if
to
we
go
even
there.
wanna talk
The
about the
Democrats
politics
Hey,
are trying
Larry,
to keep
can
us
I have your
safe.
other bottle of water, baby? Because, you know, I get thirsty.
There you go.
Thank you. I ain't went too off the hut. Man, how long did it take you to learn how to do all this shit?
Well, I mean, it took a while.
You went to school, right?
I mean, nah,
Somebody
not
taught
really.
you.
Yeah.
Somebody taught you,
Yeah.
right? See, these young people ain't got time for that. They think they know already. You know,